Final Fantasy XV's final piece of DLC will be multiplayer based. If this is a little worrisome to you, then you are not alone. Let's give it some thought. What is going on, you wonderful thought-having people you? Give it thought back here for a long overdue Final Fantasy XV news update. This was actually the video I had planned for yesterday, but with the Sean Murray Twitter hacks, I had to cover that. Anyhow, as I mentioned in the teaser, the final bit of DLC for the latest entry in the Final Fantasy franchise will be designed around some kind of multiplayer function. And this makes me a little bit weary, which I will get to toward the end. First, I want to talk about what it actually is and how it connects to the base game overall. So let's get right into this and give Final Fantasy XV its belated checkup. The multiplayer DLC will follow 5 other pieces of DLC. 3 of them are based around their other party members, which include Gladio, Ignis, and last but not least, Prompto. In those 3, you'll be able to play as each of those characters along their own unique storylines. It is odd that there are no female characters. Not to sound like an SJW, but it is noticeable. The other 2 are item packs called the Booster Pack and the Holiday Pack. These give you different weapons and armor sets and will most likely be far cheaper when bought individually. Of course, all of this can be purchased at once with the Season Pass, so you don't have to really worry about that when you want to go all in. So all of that brings us up to date with the newly announced multiplayer DLC. It is set to be called Comrades, which will allow online multiplayer for all 4 party members, which includes the main character Noctis. The DLC director for the game, to be honest, I didn't even know that was a position, but the DLC director told IGN that, quote, "When we've released each of these 3 character episodes and made each of the 3 characters playable, we're going to bring back lead character Noctis from the main game, and then add the multiplayer expansion pack, which allows you to play as all of them together in new types of online adventures." So he didn't really say anything worthy of a dissection. The only thing I noticed in that quote was that he said he would first bring back Noctis from the main game before getting into the multiplayer section. That could mean there will be a DLC based on Noctis, but at this point I doubt Square Enix would be keeping that a secret. What I think it means is that Comrades will take place outside the main game, or at least it hints at it. I will return to this in a second, but I wanted to mention that this is reported to be contained within the Season Pass. Speculation makes me assume that the Season Pass will be around $25 because the special edition of the game is priced at $85, and that is the game including the Season Pass. And besides the MMOs, this is the first Final Fantasy game ever to have a multiplayer mode. But back to that multiplayer DLC. This reminds me of Metro Last Light's Ranger Mode DLC. It is a little bit more offensive, but in case you didn't know, Metro Last Light had a difficulty mode as a DLC, which, hey, I'll say it was a ripoff. Even Fallout 4 released Survivor Mode free with an update. I really enjoy the Metro games, but that was a terrible decision. Now, Final Fantasy is getting multiplayer mode as a DLC. It really bugs me. As long as it occurs outside the main game world, I'm fine. If it gives us a sizable new place to explore along with a new bit of story, that's great. Throw in multiplayer. It can only make it more fun. But if this is just a multiplayer mode that stays within the main game, then they are really stretching the boundaries for what DLC is. DLC is supposed to be additional content that was not planned for a game, but it is such a big business now that every game developer has a plan for it. Don't get me wrong, I buy DLC and enjoy it on a regular basis, but a multiplayer mode, I don't think so. Of course, all of this complaining will probably be for nothing as it seems like it will be outside the main game, but if not, then that is really greedy. But of course, I don't make these videos to hear myself speak. I want to know what everyone else thinks about this decision by Square Enix. Will the multiplayer occur outside the main game, or is it Square Enix trying to pull a fast one on us? Tell me what you think down in the comments. And I think that's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, you know what you have to do. Hit that like button for me, and if you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button? I put out a new video every single day, and if you want to be caught up on all the latest gaming news, the best way to do that is to be under a subscription. And if you missed yesterday's video, it was all about the No Man's Sky Twitter being hacked. A lot of people really liked that video, so go check it out. But I think that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, give thought to everything.